Welcome back, everybody. I am the Mura, and as promised, I am back with an explanation, the follow up to episode 2. So let's get cracking. When a child grows up watching their needs denied while others are celebrated, it sends a very clear message. You are less. You matter less. You are loved less. What we witnessed in the story in episode 2 is a common pattern in emotionally abusive homes: triangulation, financial manipulation, and favoritism. So, favoritism in a household doesn't just create distance between the siblings, it creates a fractured sense of self. You begin to wonder things like, what is wrong with me? Why don't I get what they get? Why is my joy a threat? And when a parent punishes a child for being gifted something, when a parent takes pride in their own pleasures but denies the same for the child, it's really not about the money. It's about the control. And as we progress along in this podcast, as we go episode by episode, we will delve into how narcissists use money for control. They want control over your joy, they want control over your self expression, they want control over your self worth. Right, now let's look at the subtle ways that all of this ends up playing out in one's adulthood. You begin to struggle to believe you're worthy of nice things. You may feel guilty when receiving gifts or pleasure. You might silence your desires to avoid rocking the boat. And you may even become very overly reliant. You avoid asking for help. You become hyper independent. Right, so just a bit of a definition on what hyper independence is it's an extreme form of self-reliance where you prioritize doing everything yourself. You resist seeking help even when it's necessary. And this is often a coping mechanism, particularly after traumatic experiences. So the individual has learned to avoid relying on others to prevent potential disappointment or rejection. And this ends up leading to difficulties trusting others, forming close relationships, and even experiencing isolation. Now, if we go back to the Walkman moment, the one where my voice was literally ripped away with a scream, that can live in your nervous system for years, making you flinch at raised voices, always wanting to avoid conflict, or whisper when you want to shout. But here's the truth: you were never wrong for wanting to be seen. I was not wrong for wanting to be seen. You were never wrong for needing love, fairness, and joy. Basic human needs. And the healing begins when we stop minimizing what happened, when we stop saying, maybe it wasn't that bad, when we stop pretending that emotional abuse doesn't leave scars just because it's invisible. In this space, in this podcast, we don't just revisit the wounds, we reclaim the parts of ourselves that were silenced, ignored, or shamed. And together, we break free. I would just like to end this with a little quote that I think is fitting for this episode. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. An African proverb. Once again, thank you everybody for joining in today, and I will see you here again for episode 3. Goodbye.